Hello, Bill Parish here from Portland, Oregon. The subject of this video is Oregon Health Science University's retirement plan. Many exciting things are going on up at OHSU. For instance, world-renowned cancer specialist Brian Drucker is up at OHSU. But at the same time, it's a complicated period for OHSU. There's budget cuts, staff reductions, major projects needing funding. Again, the purpose of this video is to talk about the retirement plans. So if you're an employee of OHSU, this is a public service for you. I accept no fees from any of these vendors involved. The idea is to help you focus and shape the key decisions you'll make with respect to your retirement plans. The first key decision you need to make as an OHSU employee is, do you go with the traditional PERS, in which the organization contributes 12% and you have no involvement with the investment choices, the investments are managed by the state, or do you choose the UPP plan, a newer plan which basically puts 11% into a bucket for you, and you get to decide, you make the choices, which particular investment options you want to have that in. And there are various vendors you can choose from, 3 vendors in particular with this UPP plan. So that's the first most important choice. Do you go with the traditional PERS or do you go with the UPP? Now, if you've got some good investment experience, you're highly compensated, you might consider the UPP plan. If you don't want to have anything to do with investments and finance is a little bit troubling to you, generally speaking, the traditional PERS plan is the best way to go, at least in the beginning. Keep in mind that if you choose the UPP plan, you can't go back to the traditional PERS. But if you start with the traditional PERS, you could always later choose the UPP plan. Very important consideration. What I'll do now is I'll focus on the UPP plan. Okay? The UPP plan has 3 primary vendors. AIG VALIC, which of course AIG is bankrupt. It's got a whole host of problems, bailout by the government. TIAA Craft, very large, but also very aggressive in marketing to non-university folks now. And Fidelity. The choice to make is Fidelity. And the reason is Fidelity is the only one that's going to give you access to high-quality wholesale fee-level funds. Okay? Fidelity has a variety of funds, but within their vast portfolio of funds, they have what are called the Spartan subfamily. So a key word to remember is Spartan. If you make that choice of Fidelity, you want to be sure and go with their Spartan subfamily funds. And they won't be marketed to you. They'll market all the other funds. And the reason is that the fees on the other funds are much higher, generally at least twice as much as the Spartan. Spartan, again, are the wholesale level funds, the type of things that large institutions would invest in. They're available, but they're not marketed, because if Fidelity would market those to you rather than their traditional funds, they would lose half their fees. Okay, so that's an inside tip that should make a huge difference for you. Again, stay away from AIG VALIC and TIAA CREF for the reasons noted. So now we've talked about the first key choice, traditional versus the UPP plan. Okay, you could consider that the mandatory choice you have to make. What's also available at OHSU is the voluntary component, and that could be either a 403B or a 457, depending upon which clinic or part of OHSU you're in. Now, this is voluntary. It's like a 401k at a private employer. You contribute your own funds to that, and of course there can be a huge advantage to that. So if you're making $50,000 a year and you put $10,000 into your 403B, you're basically lowering your taxable income to $40,000. So even if you invest in a zero-risk money market, it really pays for itself because you're reducing your taxes significantly. So it's a great thing to do. It's a great thing to maximize. So let's take a look at this graph right here that shows the 403B plan and the 457 choices. Note that in the 457 plan, only diversified TIAA CREF and VALIC are offered as choices. Okay. Given that, I would choose TIAA CREF if you're in the 457 plan. Okay. 403B, there are a couple extra choices, and if you choose the 403B, then I would choose Fidelity. Now again, you may only have access to the 457 or only access to the 403B depending on which clinic you're in or which particular, how you're structured in terms of how your relationship to OHSU is. But the point is the choices are different, and this is a terrific advice. I mean, here's someone telling you from an independent standpoint who's done all the reviews and says, look, if you're in that 457 plan, choose TIAA CREF. That's the best of the 3 choices. And if you're in that 403B plan, choose Fidelity. And they are the best choices. At the end of this video, you'll see a couple visuals which provide some helpful information on where you can access the complete booklet. Again, many of you are real busy, probably don't know where the booklet is, on all the various retirement choices and contact information for the various vendors. In addition, you'll also see a reference to my website, my blog, and again, keep in mind that all the observations that I've made, whether you agree with them or not, are made from a point of view of independence and a genuine desire to do a public service to you OHSU employees. It's a great organization, and these retirement dollars that you're contributing, whether voluntary or the mandatory ones, are even more precious, especially in this difficult environment. Thanks again for watching.